Analysis with Excel. Welcome to episode 7. In this episode, we'll be talking about graphs and charts in Excel. So we have a lot of charts to play around with. Normally, Excel recommends a particular chart when it highlights your data in which you want to visualize. Okay, so graphs and charts falls under visualization in data analysis, where you make use of pictures to depict what your data is trying to tell. In this video, you will learn how to insert our first chart in Excel, customize our chart titles, labels, and colors. Also talk about how to choose the right chart type for your data, and also advance ourselves with some trend lines and other secondary axes, all in Excel. Let's get right into it. So before you can choose the right type of chart for your data, you have to understand when and where we use every type of chart in Excel. So when you select your data, click any of the cells in your data, Ctrl+A, you will select your entire data, then you come to chart. So we have column, line, pie, bar, area, XY scatter, stock, surface, radar, tree map, sunburst, histogram, box and whisker, waterfall, combo. All these are charts used in Excel. So if you want to use a column chart, the column chart looks like this with vertical bars all over. Okay. So the column chart is used when you want to compare values across categories. So talking about data, we can compare units sold, revenue collected from selling the product across months. Okay, so column chart will be a good visualization for our data. For example, you want to show sales per month. You also want to show test scores per classes. You can use the column chart. It will be very nice for any person to just take a look at your visualization and understand what you are trying to talk about. We have the bar chart. So the bar chart and the column chart are like brother and sister. Okay, the difference is the bar chart is in the form of horizontal. So same way, but this time around the bars are horizontal and the column charts are vertical. So when to use bar chart is when your data point or your labeling have longer labeling. Okay, so when you use a vertical, in the case of column, you won't get enough space to write the whole labels for your data point. So switching between column and bar chart, it depends on you on what is at stake. We also have line chart. So the line chart is best for showing trends over time, how things are moving with respect to time, either they are going up or down, okay, or they are gaining more profit over a time period. We use a line graph. We use this to indicate whether there's a steady progress in our sales and what have you. So monthly revenue growth, temperature changes over time. The line graph or the line chart is the best tool to visualize this. We also have the pie chart. So with the pie chart, we are able to tell the part of a whole where an item occupies. Okay, so maybe if you have a total revenue for our business in the laptop and smartphone sales, we'll be able to partition it into various um, portions covered by laptop sales and also smartphone sales. The pie chart is used for showing parts of a whole, percentage, market share, budget split. So if you have a lot of data points, pie chart won't be very nice to show since it will be clumsy. Okay, so it works best for less data points so that it won't be confusing. So under the pie chart, we have donut, we have bar of peas, sorry, bar of pie, we have pie of pie, and then 3D pie. These are all subs of pie chart. So with the donut chart, it's similar to the pie, but allows multiple series. Okay, so we can compare different occasions in different times, right? So you can compare maybe the inner circle will refer to a particular year and outer circle to a different year, right? So it's very nice to use that in your visualization. We move on to area chart. So area chart helps us to also know the movement of product. Okay, it's like the line chart, but in this case, the line chart is filled with color. So you can use it to show cumulative totals or emphasize on volume over time. So basically the same as the line, but in this case, it is filled with color. Then we move to the XY scatter. So the XY scatter chart is used at the point where we want to establish a relationship between two numerical values. Okay, so if you want to know whether there's a relationship between hours of study and then your score in exams. Hours of study is a numeric value, say 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and what have you. And also your exam score is also numeric. So if you want to know whether there's some kind of relationship, whether a person who tends to read more, okay, or study more hours gets high scores in exams, that's where we use a scatter plot. So you can have linear relationship, quadratic relationship, cubic relationship, and so on. So it's good for spotting correlations and patterns between two numeric variables. Then we have combo chart here. So the combo chart is used when we want to compare different types of data with different scales. Okay, so we can compare two or more stuff on one graph. You have column with line or trends in there too, column with area, and so on. You have to explore them very well and know when to use a particular type of chart for very understandable visualization. We have a histogram. It is used to show the distribution data. Maybe it is left skewed, right skewed, the mean, median, mode. It's all used in determining the distribution of data. That's the histogram. We have a histogram here. We have the box and whisker. So for statistical analysis, we can show the medians and outliers in our data when we use box and whisker. And read on box and whiskers and know how to apply them. We have the waterfall chart and also the radar chart. All right. So in summary, if you want to compare categories, you can easily use a column or a bar chart. Know which of them is having more. Yes, basically. If you want to show change over time, we use a line or the area graph. If you want to show part of a whole, we use the pie or the donut graph. If you want to show relationship, we use a scatter plot. If you want to analyze distribution, we use a histogram or box plot. So we're going to practice one or two to understand how it's done. Okay, so we can basically apply the idea of knowing which of their products generate highest revenue in our monthly sales data. We can use column chart and see which of the months and the type of product giving us the highest values. So after selecting our data, you can move to insert, and then we have column chart. You can use 2D. So this is a bar chart or 2D column chart. So we now have something like this. So we have January laptop, January smartphone. We have everything here. And we have some legends where we have the orange being the revenue and the blue being the unit. So remember that when you select your whole data without your column heads, Excel will not be able to label your charts very well. Let's try that and see. So we are selecting without our heads. So we now see series 1 and series 2. This is because we didn't highlight our column heads in addition. So Excel can't tell whether the orange column stands for the revenue, and also the blue, which is invisible right now, also stands for the number of sold items. So always remember to select the entire work with your column. Insert. So let's try with this. Right. So now Excel sees that the revenue is from column D1 to D25 and also units sold. So with this, we can say that laptop in November, most of the highest revenue generated. You can see some kind of movement. So in January, laptop sold better to smartphone. In February, same. So basically, throughout the year, we can see laptop generating higher revenue compared to smartphones. So if you want to switch to see the units sold, you can basically come to this. Okay, then we have series, select all. So you can just select on units sold. The moment you click apply, see that it has changed to a unit sold. When we select only revenue and we apply, see only revenue. This is because we selected the entire data to visualize. You can also uncheck some from them. So you can select, maybe if you are dealing with the first quarter, okay, so you have 3 months in a quarter, because the year is the 12 months is divided by 4, okay, to know the quarter. So first quarter, 3 months, January, February, March. Okay, can apply, and then you see how revenue was for the first quarter of the year. Okay, and it's still significant. The laptop is providing with hoping close to 25,000. Okay, Ghana cedis. Yes, we are in Ghana. You can also apply line chart in this to see how revenue moves over the years. When you come here, you can apply lots of things to your work, and then it will be very pleasant to the viewers. So it's all about exploring more and then knowing when to use this. You can basically click on this and then change the title. Okay, you can basically edit your entire visualized graph to suit your preference. Okay, so now let's make this chart tell a better story with titles, colors, and labels. So what's over here is the revenue for first quarter. Okay, it's not just revenue, but for the first quarter of the year. You can just edit your working now, make it better. So if I don't know about your data set and I see this anywhere, and not, oh, okay, so we have laptops, smartphones sold from January to March, okay, being the first quarter of the year. And now the orange rectangles I'm seeing represent the revenue for each product. It's quite simple because there's a legend here saying that the orange rectangles represent revenue. So we can also try the line chart and see. So it's our data once again. Insect. Have our line. So we have our line here. We can add a trend line to see. So the trend line will remove all lines, okay, and give us a clear path of how our revenue is moving over the year. So the dotted orange line can actually edit it, okay, maybe choose an appearance. That's very nice. So we can also uncheck and say we want only units sold. Also add trend line to it. So we can see that there's a steady increase in units sold based on our trend line. It's not really horizontal. It's some kind of inclination heading to the latter part of the year. So basically, you can see that, oh, there's a steady increase, okay, in the units sold from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. There's some simple visualization you can do when you're presented with data. So we are at liberty to play around all this stuff. We'll be moving on to pivot charts, pivot tables, which is very key in Excel. If you know Excel, then you must know how to use pivot charts and tables. In our next video, we will cover pivot chart and tables with examples and then understand it into details from the beginner perspective. Stay in touch and watch out for our next episode which will cover pivot and pivot tables. Have a nice day learning. Bye.